Do you think the fires are caused by climate change or something else?
Well, there's definitely a difference. I'm an avid surfer. I can tell with the water anyways. It's warmer than what it has been.
So it's climate change that caused the fire?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, things are changing.
Fires have always been a part of life in Malibu. This is a high fire danger area. Yeah. I've been living in Malibu off and on since I was 17, and I've seen many fires, and that's just part of nature.
Do you believe in climate change?
Of course.
And is the fire caused by climate change or not?
No. The fact that there is climate change maybe exacerbates the fire danger because temperatures are higher. The fire season is now longer in California than it used to be.
Yeah. They haven't done controlled burning in California in 10 years.
That's true.
Fire
and
burning.
I do think they could mitigate the damage done by fires by doing controlled burns. And there are other things that they can do to control the growth of vegetation.
All it takes is livestock just going through there, goats eating it up. You just cut down all the weeds. Fires couldn't scorch sides of hills and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You know, anything eating it up and cutting it down.
If they were to control their environment better by controlled burning, it would be so dramatic.
So says you.
I'm about to ask, do you agree with that?
No, the out-of-control burns are doing just fine to get rid of a lot of this stuff. But we have wildlife here. I mean, if we do a controlled burn and are we going to burn up a mountain lion's habitat, the habitat for the deer or hawks?
Governor Newsom blamed the fire on climate change. Do you agree with that?
Blame? No. I blame the fire on PG&E.
And why do you blame them?
Because their fucking infrastructure keeps falling down and burning up our mountains.
I know that there have been incidents with sparks. I live in Calabasas and I was evacuated last year and my whole area burned around me, so it really affected me negatively, and even working here in Malibu, it affected our entire community.
Her dad actually saved their house.
Your father saved your house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the fires that were here last time in Malibu. We live right by Canaan, so in Ramirez Canyon, and he stayed, had all the fire hoses out, but my dad prepares all year round, so there's not extra brush, and our house is fireproof. He built it.
Newsom blamed the climate change. What do you say about that?
I think that's total baloney. They've been talking about that for years now. In the 80s, they said that, you know, we had to do something about global warming, and it would already have happened by now. Like, we would already been underwater.
What do you think about the mismanagement of the forest? What do you call those people that forest people? They don't want them to clean out the bushes.
Who are the forest people?
Yeah, who are the forest people?
What do people call environmentalists?
Oh, I think there does need to be cleanup, but I mean, everything in good moderation. I don't think we need to knock down forests. We need our forests, but I think everything can be tamed.
I think someone's starting the fires, personally, but...
I wondered about that, too.
Yeah.
Is it the illegal aliens or some of the bombs?
Who, Billy Joel?
Who?
If there's cleanup and tree trimming to be done, I feel like it should just be done strictly around the power lines. Like, we can at least focus on those areas right where the power lines are.
I want to do this. So here's another fire truck. It's amazing what's happening in Malibu, California. In California, period. But you never expected to see this in Malibu, where the white folks live. We got to go and talk to some more people. There was a report that they now allow the homeless people to camp in the hills of Malibu.
Well, I think this is a sanctuary city, so I think that the law enforcement has a really hard time being able to tell people where they can and can't go. And there's rumors that a lot of the fires are started by the homeless encampments and the way that they don't contain the fires. And I know there's so many organizations here in Malibu to help those homeless people like find shelter and find places to go, so it's disappointing.
There's been a lot more fires. I don't know if that's because of the conditions or if people are being more careless with their cigarettes or their marijuana or whatever they're smoking, but...
They are now allowing homeless people in Malibu to camp overnight in the bush above Malibu. What do you think about that?
In the bush?
Uh-huh.
That's dangerous if we're not controlling these burns, because
that's right.
they don't have too many ways out. You know, they're on foot and they've got all their belongings with them that they have to take, and that can make it really difficult. So that actually makes me a little nervous.
Fires? Jesus God, man. Holy God shit about fires. I'm not only born under a fire sign, but I've been surrounded by fire problems. And
what do you mean?
Being a Sagittarius is really hard to do because you're like, you know, you're carrying the weight, and you're half insane because you're, you know, the.
Are you homeless in Malibu?
Well, yes and no. I mean, technically I'm.
You live on the streets?
I do a lot of cruising around, you know.
What caused you to become homeless in Malibu?
Well, stability is one thing, and being homeless is another. So when you're stable and you're doing something with your life, and you're going all over the place, you're pretty much sleeping on the go.
Yeah. What were the cops talking to you about just now?
Just exposure. So I got a little bit of a full-on tear right through the middle of my right through the middle. So I got my, you know.
Oh, he
so
told you to cover it up.
I covered it up because I felt it was getting a little, you know, little breezy, and people would be like looking at that shit.
Are you surprised that the Malibu community allow you to live on the streets in Malibu?
I've been in the best houses in this whole entire town.
Really?
One of my last houses I was in was a $200 million brand new build project.
Who paid for that?
A gentleman who owns 2 soap opera shows.
Are you on drugs?
I try very hard to be on drugs, and it's ridiculous, you know.
What do you think about the homelessness in Malibu?
I'm not in Malibu too often, so I don't always see it. I actually once helped a guy. He needed a phone to use, and I was a little weirded out about it, you know, because you don't know what to expect from these guys. Basically, it's an issue, and I mean, they have to go somewhere.
Why don't they go to Mexico and not California?
I guess because they're looking for some sort of peace, and they're looking for some sort of solitude within themselves that they can't get other places than some of the places beautiful and people are easygoing.